You're about to listen to the award-winning Stuart Pedasso Show. This show is for biologically and emotionally mature audiences. If you should not be here, please go away. We'll still be here when you're mature enough to partake. Mwah!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stuart Pedasso Show. I'm Dave.
I'm Carrie.
And that's it. Melissa is on assignment. And by on assignment, I mean she's got COVID. So we assigned COVID to her. And she did not take the assignment willingly. But so last week when she was on, her husband was sick. And they both tested negative. And then, so we recorded on Friday. And then apparently she tested on Sunday and it was positive. And she didn't text me and say, hey, by the way, I was just 6 feet away from you for like an hour and a half and breathing on you. And I just tested positive. I just happened to read it on Monday morning on Facebook.
Ah.
Right. So, oh, fuck. All right. So I grabbed the test and I've tested 3 times since Monday and I've been negative. And
and now
no
you're
symptoms.
just telling me.
I've had no symptoms and I'm negative. We wouldn't be doing a show if there was even a hint of anything. I would not do that.
Okay.
Especially diabetes boy. I would not. I don't fuck around with that.
Oh, are they giving out tests free now?
No.
Oh,
we've had some. Well, the last time I went for one 6 months ago or something, it was like $75.
Yep.
It's like, you just then breathe on me. Then I'll just assume I have it. Fuck that.
So, I wonder if I'm eligible to get them from my doctor.
That's possible. I know my insurance said, yeah, you're done. We're not paying for it.
Yeah, but I take medication that I'm immunocompromised, so I might be eligible.
I know being diabetes boy.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the Wilford Brimley.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I have the diabetes.
Diabetes.
We did a bit. Wilford Brimley edible underwear. And he talked about his diabetes. They're sugar-free because he can't eat sugar underwear.
Yep. Okay, I had to think about that. I went to a PD where we had to bring in a book, and the only book I had, professional development.
Okay. No, I know, but you had to bring in a book?
A book.
Okay.
And
any book?
For lunch, a book. Yeah, and we had to share a book. It was a book, something. And in the theme of the book, he had to bring something, a dish to pass type thing. And I was going to bring in Goodnight Moon. And what does Goodnight Moon have to eat in it but a bowl full of mush? And I thought about diabetes guy and I was going to bring in instant oatmeal.
I actually scored, it's really old, a video of telling that story, but in ASL.
I used to have a pop-up. Well, it was a pop-up, but it also had the little pull tabs that made it move, and I can't find a copy of it anywhere.
And I have never heard of that story until I got that video.
Aw. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I read it to all my kids, and all my grandkids have Goodnight Moon.
Well, when I got my kid, she was 13. So even if I knew that story, she'd be like,
then I saw Goodnight Boobala.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I don't have little kids. What do you want me to tell you? How am I supposed to? Although today, so today I have a mini dilemma. And knowing me, I'll end up doing this anyway. I was listening to a podcast on driving into work, like I do, and they were, and it was I don't listen to like true crime shit. It's always about, the world coming to an end.
Politics. Regular news.
Well, yeah,
cable news.
To the left.
Regular.
To the
left.
left.
To the left.
Yeah. Like, no, really.
Everything in a box.
The radical.
Yeah.
To the left. So there was a person who has written books and seems to be geared towards young adult, like teens. And it said it wasn't for adults. And so I didn't know if it was like Goodnight Moon, that age, which is what, 2, 3, 4, something
18 months.
That young? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you start reading to them before they can actually read.
I knew that. No, I know that part. But,
okay.
But anyway, I didn't know if it was that kind of kid's book or young adult or whatever. So I got to school today, and we did no school. I played kickball, which I want to talk about. I have on my list. We're going to talk about kickball.
Okay.
Exciting stuff here on the Stuart Pedasso Show. And so I was like, oh, wait, that podcast I was listening to, she wrote these books. She also does this international activism around nonviolent protesting and change and stuff like that. But so I went to check these books out, and they look really cool. They're definitely more teen oriented, and it's like novels but about creating social change. Like teens creating social change. And I'm like, man, if I was how do I say this? You gotta be careful. Don't worry, I'm not gonna get fired. Someone's
I know.
okay.
Yep.
The students I have and what I'm teaching and what I'm going to be teaching this coming year, which by the way I found out just the other day, yeah, I would have no use for these books at all. They would just be like in my room just to be in my room.
Okay.
But I want them.
Well, you know what I'm excited about?
So I'm like, and they're not like the cheapest books in the world either. So I'm like, man, am I gonna blow $150 on like this set? And I really just know one of my kids are gonna read it, and I'll be happy I got it.
Will they read them?
No, absolutely. As I'm saying, they won't read them.
See, I just learned same professional development I went to, and it was from the library, and I learned all about manga. And I'm about to get my own set in my own library in my classroom of manga books.
Well, because you have.
I'm allowed to.
Well, no, I'm not allowed, but I mean, it's like the students you tend to be
6 through 12. I can have kids from 6 through 12th grade at any point in time.
And so
and they will have point in time where they might not have work to do, so that they'll have a little bit of maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe that it could be something that, and I just learned, I had no idea what it was, in fact. Yeah, and I didn't realize that in our district right now, that they just brought in people from other districts' libraries, and I didn't realize that manga is they're doing history books in manga style. Like it's amazing just to draw kids into.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, and our district just is investing in some of that stuff. So I'm going to try it.
All right. So if you're not expecting, sorry, it's welcome to Teacher Talk.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just sorry. I'm just saying. No, it's all good. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
About
that type of, I'll call it literature. We really dropped, and actually we had another friend who's a regular on the show who you should meet. We got to get you guys in a room together, actually.
You make it sound like it's an MMA.
No, in a cage match.
Cage match. Dun, 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 this corner.
Oh, now I'm distracted. Sorry. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. It's got me thinking about vagina mics now. Okay, so sorry, pregame. Oh man, I'm really distracted. What were we talking about? Oh, books, right? Books.
Well, because I'm somebody who I love to read.
Yeah.
But I also want somebody else to love reading.
Right. Yeah,
and sometimes that's the hook to get somebody who
I
doesn't like.
Yeah.
And then you transition them into what I would call a regular book.
Yeah.
So it can be your gateway. I call them gateway books.
Yes.
They're gateway books. They can be a gateway book. And it's not that, and I know what you're going to say. And I think that's where some people go. They look like they're not traditional books. But sometimes it's to get a reluctant reader.
Oh no, I understand. Where I was going was that's what with Special K we were talking about how we've dropped the ball when we start teaching kids to read, is that we actually not physically, but we like beat the love of reading out of them. So that by the time, and that's what I was saying. So that's why I say we have mixed feelings. It's like, I get it. Yeah. If you have a kid at that age who's 6 through 12 and won't read a freaking label on a can, to use something to get them to do something. I'm in the same position.
I guess if they have a choice to do nothing or read, and they choose to read over nothing, I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yep.
I wistfully think about how for decades now we could have had, you love to read.
Oh my God.
And you're a math teacher.
Yes.
Right, so I'm saying. So it's like we were.
But that was my escape as a kid. I loved, and kids don't do it anymore.
So that's a great segue, because just the last time we were together, were talking about a book. Do you remember this?
Which one?
This book.
It's not you, it's capitalism.
How much did you drink that day?
Apparently a lot.
Okay. I asked if you would read a book to help me out.
Yes.
Okay, you with me now?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, it came.
Yes. Oh, yes. This is what I said. I took notes about the other one.
Okay.
This was about the two things that I needed to focus on. And one of them was...
Housing and childcare.
No, I thought it was healthcare.
No.
Childcare. In
What
my
other
mind,
book?
it was healthcare.
What book did you read?
No. I thought it was housing and healthcare
No.
I was looking at. Okay. That's why I said I wrote down that other stuff about Mark Cuban.
Oh.
I thought it was healthcare I was going to be looking at.
No. So, okay. So to fill
Even
the
better
listeners
is
in.
childcare, because that's even closer to my heart.
Yeah. So, okay. So to fill his listeners in. So you guys know, I've said this over the past few weeks, that in the next year, the next election year, not the one coming up, the presidential and federal elections and some state stuff, depending on where you live. I'm running for city council again next year. And so the two main issues, and I have a ton of issues already, like always, but the two main things I really want to drive home and have huge platform things on is housing as a human right, and I have an idea for universal child care in our city. Now, for that to happen, as I'm learning, it's a heavy lift, and it will not happen overnight, but me talking about it and starting to get the ball rolling hopefully can at the very least increase the amount of childcare there is, and then maybe at some point to get to universal childcare within the city. But no one's talking about it. In this town, whenever they talk about it at a county level and how much the funding sucks, and nobody can find it that's less than a mortgage, that costs less than a mortgage.
Now, are you making a difference between childcare and preschool?
I will take either one. Or a combination. I'm still in the research stage.
Okay.
That's why I was asking for your help, because I have so many things in this book, Everyday Utopia, which we've talked about on the show. And by the way, you can link to it, Stewart's Library. You can check out those books, including It's Not You, It's Capitalism, which will get added to this weekend at stuartpedasso.com. And because this has an entire chapter that's fully researched with these footnotes that are really hard to follow about childcare, and which is actually what gave me the idea to include that in this campaign. So this book I heard about on a different podcast, that Richard Wolf's podcast, which you all should be listening to, and it said the interview with the author was so awesome that I was like, yeah, I definitely want to grab this book. And I thought it was going to be something big and thick and serious, and this seems to be looks like an easy read. So I'm actually like kind of psyched that I got it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it thinking, oof, there's not much there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the print's not super big, so there is some.
Now that you mentioned
there.
childcare, because I just heard something recently.
You talk while I give us some more wine.
Okay. That somebody I shall not name who's running for vice president made a comment. Just, I don't know. Just the conversation about the difference between childcare, preschool, and they're just talking about. I mean, there is a difference between preschool versus, somebody getting, having grandma reimbursed for babysitting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Huge difference. Yeah. So.
Well, okay. So my research isn't even close to being done, but I would. And anything on campaigns that I'm in, when I run, is my website is like a living document. I'm always adding to it, even if it's, okay, here's my platform plank on gun violence. Boom. And once it's up, that doesn't mean it's a solid thing that stays that way. If I find something new or something that I can tweak better or make it even better, I will change it on the fly. And then I'll put out on social media, hey, if you read my thing on gun violence, I made some additions. You should go check it out again. And so my vision is not the trend, which I'm going to say it this way on purpose, is not like the current trend of like elder care, which now your family members can get paid to take care of you in your home, which used to be illegal they wouldn't pay you. Medicaid wouldn't pay to have someone who would be family member take care of you who would do it anyway. Now you can get paid for it. And when I was doing disability rights work, that was one of the things we fought for. So I kind of had something to, I'm not saying I had made it happen, but
Right.
you know, some of my arrests were to make that times I got arrested were to make that happen. So I'm not thinking something like that to pay Nana to watch your kid while you go back to work. And because of the initial stuff I've been reading, that it actually helps kids in way to be able to interact with other adults, not just family members.
Correct. So I'm hoping they're not kind of conflating those two things, because that's different.
But even childcare, I am talking about not in the home or not with Nana. I am talking about paid professionals.
Correct. Okay, good. Because there's a huge difference between structured preschool, where they're learning, there's a curriculum, as opposed to, I don't know.
But I'm hoping that I'm talking about not just sitting, even in a child care center, not just sitting kids in front of a video.
Correct. Okay.
Right. That would be my thing.
Correct.
That's how I will do it. Now, to make sure that's because, you know, you hear about daycare centers that are run out of people's homes and that's all they do, and you hear about that shit, and sometimes even not in people's homes, even like more official government-y kind of ones that's what they do. So I would like to put in there parameters and ways to make sure that it's not that, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to have 2-year-olds come in and drill them. Come on, you must learn. Schnell.
But there should be.
Well, no,
if it's going to.
Well, like you said, we just said, were we recording when you said this? That you read to kids even when they can't read themselves.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It shouldn't be the same. Funding that a preschool shouldn't get same as Nana at home.
Well, I'm saying I don't want to fund Nana at home.
Correct.
That's not my
Good.
my thought right now. Now again, I'm still researching, and I'll be honest with you, running for office is I want to sit down and do all the wonky stuff and write white papers and do research, and my website right now just has old stuff from the last campaign because I'm so busy going to yesterday I was community meetings. I was speak to city council last night, which went really well. But I mean, there was the thing itself, and I was talking about housing, and I have to admit I did a good job last night. I don't always. Sometimes I walk out of there going, yeah, didn't quite get that one, but no, last night I was kind of on. I did a good job. But then there was afterwards, and people hang around and like we're outside out on the street and the sidewalk. And talking to people. Next thing you know, I'm driving someone home because we wanted to keep the conversation going. He was like, oh, I was going to go catch a bus. I'm like, dude, it's Rochester. Everything's 10 minutes away. I'll take you home. We'll keep talking. And had this amazing conversation with a long-time community activist who if he wasn't a Black Panther back in the day, he was definitely affiliated with them. So I just listening to elders, and I'm old, and listening to someone who's older than me who's been through things that I will never experience. And it was just amazing having that kind of talk with somebody and who's willing to, and then even as he's getting out of the car going, hey, this is where my porch, this is where I am. If you need me, this is where like a real connection with someone who,
right.
How would I make those connections normally?
Right.
And, so I'm so busy doing that stuff, even though I get home and it's like 9:30 and I've been teaching all day and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing fucking reading about childcare right now. I mean, even in my younger days, I wouldn't. Yeah. I'd still be wiped out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing me a great solid. Any place you can find in there that talks about housing for everybody and childcare, if there even is.
Because I'm actually discussing this with my daughter and what she's going through with childcare and what.
Which daughter? Where? Who? Which?
The one that's in Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay.
Also, the one that's in Barcelona and what she's going through with what goes on in their country.
So
which is very different.
Can you speak to that? No, that's
absolutely
awesome. What are the differences? That's awesome.
Well, they do a lot of. They have a lot of. It's very socialist over there.
I know.
However, the pendulum's swinging far right at the moment.
But it's being fought.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of that, like everyone talks about
we
Canada's.
just talked about it when he came over.
And Great Britain socialized medicine, and the capitalists have been trying to chip away at that for years.
But what they have is, so she works at an international school. My daughter teaches there, but they're going to have a nanny. A nanny comes over and comes into the home.
Okay.
Extremely cheap, but they have they're both home. They have the paternal leave. They're all about family. They're their job. Like when she was pregnant, she went out on maternity leave. They didn't even want her to come back. It was too much of a what do you call it? Disruption to the kids, the students. It was more important for the students to have a flow. It wasn't, it was more important for the students to have the better flow with her coming and going.
That's fascinating.
Yep. It's not about the money over there. And she still isn't back. She won't come back. She's been gone out of work. He's 8 months old. She's been out of work this whole time. She'll be back in September. And she goes back half days. And the nanny, but their daycare, they get subsidized. Half of it, I believe, is subsidized from the government. Yeah, and the nanny is... I
want it all. I want it free.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'm... So I'm also trying to get help with folks to help me find where to pay for it. I mean, I can pay for anything.
But now my daughter who lives here,
yeah,
they can only have 2 kids because daycare is so out of control. She actually had to pick up a second waitressing job to pay for daycare until recently. Now her 4-year-old this September will do universal pre-K, which is paid for. That's how she can stop waitressing 1 day a week. And she's an OT and he's a lawyer.
Occupational therapist for those not in the field. No, that's all right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
and there are no jobs to sneeze at. But they both have student loan. I mean, it's, they just bought a home. It's not, you know what I mean? But they're not great and they're good jobs. It's not. And, I mean, and their daycare it's a lot of freaking money. Like they pay a lot of money for daycare, but they would love to have another child, but they know they can't afford. And that was their reasoning is daycare alone. They couldn't afford to pay for daycare.
Well, I mean, it's become a meme now, but I mean, back in the day, you could just do one person working full time, and that was enough. Someone could stay home.
And this is what this particular guy was saying.
Well, if they wanted to, I mean, they would have the choice. Now,
see, I was lucky. I was able to stay home with my kids. I worked opposite my husband. Like he came home, I went to work. I came home and then he went to work because we couldn't afford daycare, basically.
But you worked different schedules.
But then I did in-home daycare.
Yeah.
Like we had one kid, like I did before school and after school daycare at home. But it was very important for me who came into my home.
Sure.
And they were also lifelong friends with my kids as well. So, like you said, like it's also, you have to be very careful, like in-home daycares. Like, it's I don't know.
So the book is called "It's Not You, It's Capitalism," and I can't see the author's name from here.
Malaika Jabali.
Right, Malaika Jabali.
Right?
Yeah, you did. I just couldn't see it from here. We will have that book. We will add it to Stuart's library, which is at stuartbordasco.com, and you click on that, and it takes you to a Powell's Books website where all of our books that we have talked about at some point here on the show, you can go and maybe buy them if you're interested in that. Just a quick rundown, I will tell you. The one book I was just talking about, Everyday Utopia, is on there. We the Elites, Why the U.S. Constitution Serves the Few. An amazing book. You should totally get that. Democracy at Work, A Cure for Capitalism from Richard Wolff, whose podcast I just said you should all be listening to. He actually has a new book out. I may swap that. I just found out 2 days ago he has a new book out. The End of Policing by Alex Vitale, who we've had on the show, who's absolutely amazing. And you should read all these books. They wouldn't be on the shelf if you shouldn't read them. And then, of course, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning by Chris Hedges. Okay, we haven't had Chris Hedges on the show. I don't think I can score that one. Never. It's okay. I understand you haven't heard him. Okay, we haven't had this person on the show either, but I just thought I'd add this because folks should read about the Zapatistas. Zapatista Stories for Dreaming in Another World. And then our friend Matt Hunglotz Hetling, read his name, Libertarian Walks into a Bear, the utopian plot to liberate an American town and some bears. An amazing book. It is hilariously funny, and if libertarians make you laugh and cringe, you will love this book. And then the book Melissa's been talking about, ADHD for Smartass Women, we just added on a few weeks ago.
Why? ADHD for smartass women?
Yeah.
I like that.
And then It's Not You, It's Capitalism will be added on this weekend. So that's the partner bookshelf at Stewart's Bookshelf at stuartpedastro.com. You can check that out with all the other creamy internet goodness we have going on there. What?
It's almost as bad as moist.
Are you an anti-moist person? Well, by the look on your face, I'm guessing yes. No?
I don't know. I don't know. People have an issue with the word moist.
They do. I don't understand why.
I don't either. It makes me laugh.
I can't think of a time.
Moist towelette. I don't know.
Why is moist I can't think of a way I'd be like, whatever you do, don't get this moist.
I don't know why it's an issue. But when you were saying bears, it makes me think of RFK Jr. Wait, no, not RFK. Who's the guy?
You're right.
It is RFK Jr.
Oh my God. What a clown show. Jesus.
Sorry.
And so when I was petitioning just a few months ago for Jill Stein, at the same time, all people were petitioning for RFK Jr.
Yeah.
They're fucking nuts, man. They all had this look. I couldn't, like, they'd come up to me, like, they'd see I'd have a clipboard, and they're like, "Are you here for RFK?" And like, it's okay, it's a podcast, you can't see my face, but like wide-eyed and like, oh my, like their hair's on fire, like this is what they've been waiting for their whole life, to sign this petition for RFK, and he like kills bears and dumps them in parks, and
like, I just think of the costumes this Halloween. You're gonna have white bandages with red ties. You're gonna have the breakdancing green outfit. You're gonna have the bears for RFK. You're gonna have all kinds of fun
but that's
stuff
not even like that's stands out.
It's been crazy
but
this year.
He also, like, if you're an RFK Jr. guy, your candidate has had to prove to people he doesn't eat humans.
But he also killed people with measles in some island country.
I know
like,
that too,
he's
but
nuts.
but he is. I mean, well, that's like serious nuts. But the other nuts,
he even admitted to how many skeletons in his closet. He wouldn't want you to shake it. There's so
and
many.
then the worms that eat his brain.
Right? Come on,
dude. But the people who are still so look at the crazy shit Trump does and says, and there's still people who would die for him as well. So,
the men, and then the women who love them.
No, I've seen women too.
I was going to say, but then there's the women that love those men.
No, there are women who love Trump.
But those are the women who love those men.
Some, but no, I've seen, I understand what you're saying, but I've seen the interviews with them that are just, he can grab my pussy. Like,
because they love men like that. They love those kind of men. They also love that kind of power and attention.
And so,
plus the camera's on them while they say it.
Oh, those people don't care.
The camera's on them.
Yeah. They couldn't care less. They will. It's a fascinating psychological.
Yes, it is.
I won't even call it a phenomenon, because throughout history, I mean, there's still people.
I also watched Big Brother recently.
Okay.
Come on, I can't stop.
No,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
I'm busy going to community meetings. I'm sorry.
I also have nothing else to do, and I don't get
community
any
meetings with me.
I don't know where they are. You got to tell me. You're gonna have to text me the address, because I clearly have nothing better to do but watch Big Brother. I'm also here's the reason. I'm fascinated with what people are willing to do on TV. I'm shocked. It is quite interesting. My daughter and I were talking about that. I forgot what we watched when I was in Barcelona when I visited her, because when she's stuck with an infant, she was stuck watching Netflix, and we watched I forgot what show it was. I think it was Love is Blind. And we literally, and we started, and it does open up these conversations about, and then we started to get to know these characters. And then we started discussing like, so how much of this you think is fake? How much you think is for the camera? And then we started discussing about what people were on the show and what they did after and how much money they made afterwards and how much it was like, it's a business model, what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we started to follow, or she started to follow a particular couple, and then they went on a show afterwards. And it's kind of fascinating in a way, what this whole social media, like how society is evolving with all of this.
Devolving, some would say.
It's evolving. We always evolve. But yes, we evolve by devolving, if you want to put it that way.
Changing.
We are changing. But if you don't understand it, how are you going to fight it? Because I have grandchildren that are growing up in this. I need to understand it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I feel, well, again, not as attached. I'm
curious.
But the same with students. I mean, I know that they, yes.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that.
So I'm fascinated. Like I'm not following it like, ooh, look at that. But I'm curious, so I'm watching it, and it's clearly fake. I mean, it's all scripted, obviously scripted. But I'm so fascinated, like I'm watching Big Brother, huh?
It's like Razzling.
Oh, yeah. But it's okay. Like, oh, America, you get to vote, and it's like okay, so it's very much like politics. It's the same thing, and it's all popularity.
And that's I mean, that's been, I may have said it on the show, I don't remember, but I mean, the same thing with the preoccupation of so many people with like sports ball. It's like, I get it. You like entertainment and you like competition. Dude, stuff that's going on in your town in terms of politics or even in the country, that's competition too.
Correct.
I get into that.
So now I've been watching local news a lot more. Starting to follow it a little bit better, but I'm getting brutal. Most of my news now from the comedy shows.
Yeah, a lot of folks
because it's more accurate. Because you really got to know your shit to make it funny. I mean, you really do. Like those people. They got to be on point.
Yeah, and there's still though. There's
the Daily Show's pretty good.
I've talked about this in my classes with my students. You just can't, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You can't not be biased, but in some way.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, we've had the example until I have a better one. I use that you're biased if you accidentally meet a bear. Oh, yeah, going back to bears again. Oh, my God, this is like all about bears.
Duh, bears.
Oh, if only Peter was here, then I'd have a bear in the room. Well, he would admit it.
Huh? Who?
Big, hairy, gay guy.
Who?
Is a bear.
Who?
Peter?
I don't know who Peter
is. My friend?
is.
Oh, you've met Peter? The one time you were at my mom's, I think he was there.
I don't remember a big
larger,
bear guy.
tall. Okay. Anyway, well, we'll have to get you in a room with him as well.
Alrighty then. I might recognize him once I see him.
Maybe.
Does he talk like that? Like Chewbacca? Does he
no,
look like Chewbacca?
He's not that hairy.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not that hairy.
I'm picturing Chewbacca. It was my Chewbacca impression. If you didn't get it, it
was it?
Good.
No,
really
okay,
good.
yeah, I wouldn't take that act on the road at all.
Okay.
I'm so confused. Oh yeah, so the example I use is with my students is you are biased. If a bear walked into the classroom right now, you have a bias that bear is dangerous. And even maybe it's a trained bear who will jump through hoops for you if you give him little treats and stuff, but you don't know that. You have a bias about bears, and that saves your life.
Correct.
Right. So just say that everyone has a bias isn't necessarily a bad thing. Right? Now, you also have a bias, not you, but people also have a bias. You're walking down the street and you see a big, huge black guy, women will grab their purse, or guys will get all nervous, and could be the gentlest person in the world, and you have a bias too, and that one's always not that good. So, yeah, I mean, having those ideas, and when it's going into politics, and if you start looking at that stuff in the news, even the comedy news, they have to have a bias. And I kind of stopped watching. I used to too, and I kind of stopped because those biases were driving me nuts, because I can see them being someone who has my own biases toward a different, the comedy biases tend to be liberal.
They do. They go after both sides because they are trying to get a laugh, so they do kind of go at both. But yeah, I see your point.
And my biases are more towards the, I'll call it extreme, but I don't think everybody having healthcare is extreme, but whatever. But in capitalism it is, but I don't feel that it is, but because that's where I lean to. I mean, I'm not saying we should all be, I'm not in that with those people, I'm going to say dudes because it's mostly dudes, who argue between the writings of Marx and Lenin and Stalin and are you a Trotskyist? And I those people, I just roll my eyes.
I don't get into all of those little detail thingies.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why a $20 prescription needs to cost $300.
I don't see why anything that keeps you alive should cost money.
Agreed.
So maybe I am way radical on that end.
Healthcare needs to be a for-profit thing.
That's right.
It shouldn't.
Fucking radical, you. Comrade. I'm calling you comrade from now on.
Education shouldn't be for profit.
I'm good.
Childcare shouldn't be for profit.
Just on purpose, when you leave, I'm hugging you and saying goodbye, comrade.
Okay, I'm just saying. Those three things should not be for profit.
All right. No, meat, food, clothing, shelter, healthcare. Oh, education. All right. I wouldn't put that in. I'm putting it in there now.
It shouldn't be for profit.
Yes.
I mean, it just shouldn't.
No. So
you can make a living off of it. It just shouldn't be like. It just doesn't need to be. Even hospitals shouldn't be profit making.
So even though most of the podcasts I listen to are news and they are way to the left and they tend to be more on the radical side, I don't get the ones, where they're, again, like I said, arguing about Marx and Trotsky and all that. I don't give a flying fuck about what the Russian revolutionaries did in 1917. I don't say I don't give a flying fuck. I'm not going to get into arguments in 2024 about it. That's just
it's not relevant at this moment.
I believe the term would be mental masturbation, and I just got shit to do. I got community meetings to go to.
Yeah.
I got like real live human being politicians to fuck with. I don't need.
Right.
All right, I'm putting the phallic thing back closer.
Oh, sorry.
To you.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. No, you got relaxed.
Oh, it's still on?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Told you. See, I told you.
Sorry.
Don't stop saying sorry. Don't say sorry for saying sorry.
My apologies.
Oh, I didn't. When am I putting a check mark? I didn't talk about this yet. Where are we at time? Oh, we're plenty of time.
Okay.
I'm going to take a breath. Okay. So, I had school today.
I did too.
You did too.
For the first time.
And you taught algebra.
Algebra 1. I did. 3 sections.
Cool. I played kickball.
And then I taught them to do things my way. I did it my way.
Oh, good.
I said, would you like me to teach the way your teacher taught you, or do you want me to do it my way?
Oh, come on. You had the opportunity to say, or to do it the right way.
I said my way.
Yeah, you should have said the right way. That's really passive aggressive.
They said, Miss.
It's really passive.
How is your way?
The right way.
I did not.
You should. I'm telling you should have.
I wanted to, but I did not.
Dude, it's the last day of summer school. What are they going to do? Not call you back? Oh, so you know what you're doing next school year.
I do.
Yeah, mine is a crapshoot from here. You never know. And actually, this is probably...
Actually, I'm pretty sure, because I just found out this guy could be a jerk, but I don't know.
Okay. Your new boss.
No, I don't know.
I'm sure he doesn't listen to the Stuart Pedasso show. He doesn't listen. My dude, we're listened to by tens of listeners. You think that guy?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I this is going to be interesting. I will be teaching. So remember, when I lost, we've talked about this on the show, and you can go back and listen to the old shows. I lost a teaching job for having the Stuart Pedasso show and teaching actual real history from a people's point of view, in a shit town, right? So I went from being that cool ass real history man kind of teacher to pretty much teaching sign language full time.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I have 3 high school sign language classes, 1 half year or every other day 8th grade sign language class, which I actually am dreading because they hate it. The 8th graders hate it. I haven't. Yeah.
How many of them do this to you?
No,
They don't.
They don't. No, I already know the ones who are going to be like, here's sign language and give me the...
Really?
Oh, boy, because I've never seen that before. You're so original. Go to support.
Yeah, I think I had all my kids all but 3 had their cell phones out today.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, last day of summer school. Like, I don't care. I go, could we at least pretend to not have our cell phones out? Can we pretend? Just for a minute.
And then there's one class that is this is what's called a 9th grade elective to be determined. So I'm teaching a class in 2 weeks that I have no idea what the subject is, to be determined. So
they are allowed to do that to you.
Yeah, I know.
Technically. Oh my God. Is that fun?
So I emailed back, and by the way, I love my principal, one of the best ones I've ever worked with. So I'm not saying this like I'm dissing her by any means. And I'll tell you something about her off mic. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I know she's not listening. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. But it's not something I want on mic. So I texted back. I was like, hey, who gets to decide what the elective is? Because I have some ideas. and she knows me. She knows the stuff I do. She's observed me and knows exactly how I roll. And I'm not... I found out today from a new teacher who just came in over the summer. Is like, yeah, everybody talks about like you've been here for a long time. I've been here a year and a half. Mm-hmm. That's all. So apparently people talk. See, everybody talks about me when I'm not in the room.
There you go.
So I have ideas, but I know the 9th grade elective, those 9th graders are the same students I had just this past school year. Mm-hmm. They are not fun children, and they will not like anything. No. Anything. So other than, here's an elective, being on your phone 101.
Oh, there's a fun one.
That's the only one that they would be into. Mm-hmm. You know what? They would be into it for like a week, and then just to be contradictory, they would hate being on their phones.
Yep.
But no, that's the class. You have to be on your phone. No, I don't want to be on my phone.
I don't want to be on my phone. Nope.
I want to read.
Yep.
It's like, Johnny, you can't read.
Yep.
I don't care. I want to read.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. So, sign language, okay. I never thought, and it's one of the examples I tell my students how, like, we're never going to have to use this. I'm like, dude, you never know. I know I'm old. This means I'm officially old because every day, once a day, I say to somebody when I was your age. When I was your age, I don't think I had no sign language. You gonna tell me I'm a sign language teacher? Mm-hmm. Why would I? Yeah. How would I do that? And just that happened because one night I was working in a place and they said, "We want you to work here now," and it was a deaf place. Mm-hmm. And I had a decision. I could stay there and learn it, or I could be scared and run away. And I stayed. And now I'm one class away from being technically certified, but I'm teaching it anyway.
There you go.
So you never know. Now, is it bringing me any more money? No, it's not. But it's something I never thought I'd be doing. So, but the kids these days, and I'm sure it was back in the day too, just whatever this elective, I have so many ideas on electives that I think would be cool, but they're not going to.
No.
Sticking it to the man 101.
There you go. Sticking it.
I did a class at School Without Walls.
Sticking it to the man.
We didn't call it that. I think we called it social change or something like that. I can't remember. It was an elective. It was okay.
Huh. I wonder what the chances are, Aaron, we can get Dominic into School Without Walls. That would be nice. Not going to happen, but he's got 4 credits going into 11th grade.
Well, it's not so much the 4. Actually, you might want to look at all. Sorry, folks, we're doing personal stuff tonight. You might want to look at All City.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about that off mic too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But I can segue this in. So today was kind of the last day of summer school. Like your students today, they have read a couple of state tests on Monday and Tuesday. But there's also kids who are in summer school in my program who don't have state tests. I have 7th and 8th graders too in our school. So there's some high schoolers. We still have
classes on Monday.
Yeah, right. So there's some that actually are there for credit recovery and not for Regents. So they're high schoolers, but they're not there for Regents. So, but this was like the last day with everybody there at the same time, kind of thing, doing regular routine, and there was no routine, and we ended up playing kickball. In the afternoon, and they had a dunk tank, and both the principal and vice principal were there in it. They did the dunk tank.
Nice.
Yeah, And
that's fun.
They acted like they were like, no, I don't want it. They were digging it. They were ready. They were,
fun.
I'm surprised
I love when they get to do stuff like that.
Surprised they weren't wearing flippers. For crying out loud. They are good. They're good. Like I said, I really like the administrators I'm working for. I don't always agree with them, but yeah.
I have to say, Mr. Allen did go in a dunk tank at Charlotte.
Did he?
He did. I give him credit for that.
Man, I can't see that. But all right, good for him.
He did do that.
So now to make it about myself, so in kickball today, first of all, I just played in the outfield. I played in the field for both teams. I was just like that, because I figured I don't need to kick. Let the kids have the funner part, kicking and running and stuff. But I didn't tell anybody. But I made it and almost nothing came my way. But I did say if anything came to me, I was not going to catch it. Because our kids sit around so much. If I don't catch it, they have to run.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I'm making these kids run.
Right.
So the first one was right there, and I let it go. Oops, and it fell. And man, I had one kid out in the field who was so pissed at me. Come on, Butterfingers! He's like, I was like, sorry. And then the second one, I did not catch it on purpose, but it was still a hard play. I mean, I really would have had to try to catch it. And it was like the very next kick. Butterfingers!
And these are 7th and 8th graders?
No, this was everybody. So staff, this was 7th through 12, right? 11. And but the point I was bringing up about the kickball was I also, even stuff would come to me on the ground or in those two cases, and I had to throw the kickballs. And okay, there might be one or two people listening to this right now who knew me back in my younger days. I'm not going to say, and I'm sorry, I'm about to use manly terms, sports ball terms, and I'm not going to say I ever had, quote, a cannon of an arm.
Jesus.
Okay, that's the only time I'm doing it. I would not to say, but I had a pretty decent arm. I pitched, for crying out loud. And when I played the outfield in high school, I had a pretty good arm before, injuries and dumbness and all that jazz. And watching this kickball go maybe 12 feet and just die, I was just like, it was supposed to go farther. And I was really trying to throw. And it was just, and then it hurt afterwards. And I'm like,
you were so deflated.
Oh my God. I'm like, what the hell happened to me? I used to be able to throw for real. I freaking pitched in college, for crying out loud. And I'm like, bloop. I was like, oh, it was so sad. It really was. And I'm trying to go, ha ha, I meant that. Oh, shit. Yeah, it really was. I really made it look like, yeah. But yeah, I was totally just, oh my God, thinking, damn, you are old. How long until retirement? I don't play anymore. I don't even work out very much anymore. And I don't know if I could get back to, quote, cannon shape. I'm putting air quotes.
Pre-cannon days.
Yes, but I mean, I could get back to where I could throw a kickball again, but the work I'd have to do to throw a kickball twice a year, I'm good. I got meetings to go to. I got shit to do, bro. I got podcasts to When was the last time you played kickball or something similar?
Yeah, we won't go there.
Well, how long ago? I didn't ask how when.
I don't know if I've ever played.
Well, it doesn't be kickball. I mean, something with the grandkids, something jarts.
Okay,
even though they're illegal now.
Funny story.
Please, we need to have a funny story finally.
No, I know, right? We've been so serious. Well, no, I had the knee replacement, right? So I had the second one.
Right.
So I've been doing so well with my physical therapy. What?
No, go on, because you just maybe reminded me of something. No, go ahead.
So I've been doing so well with it. So I've been, I go out to Buffalo and taking my grandkids. So I just took Ronan for a walk, and first I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Well, I Ronan, my little beast, she's 18 months, but she wears a size 3T. She's a big girl.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
3 toddler. She wears a size 3. She's only 1.
I remember when I got my kid, she was 13. Okay, sorry.
She's 3 size. This her size.
She's a big girl.
She's a big girl.
All right, so that's what I need to hear.
She's my beast.
There you go. That's what I need
Love
to
her.
hear. That I understand. 3T means nothing to me. She's a big girl. I got that.
She's 3 sizes bigger than she should
All
be.
right. Well, who says should? But what society says is normal. She's fine. She's fine. Carrie, she's
But we went, we find puddles. We have to jump in them every single. So we come back. She's covered head to toe with mud.
Yeah.
There is nothing dainty about my little girl.
good.
Because that's how you build microbes.
Well, she's a
What do you call them? Not microbes.
I know what you-
Microbiomes. My bad. Because that's how you build immunities. Thank you. Okay, good. You know, you're. So, well,
So I still lick dirt.
well, that's what you do with kids, and that's what's so good. So, and she's got this big curly hair, and I don't know, but that's what I do. And we collect frogs and stuff, and yeah. So, anyways, I take her out for walks, and that's what we do. So we were jumping in puddles. Well, I didn't realize that I shouldn't be jumping. My knee blew up, and I couldn't figure out why. It took me a couple of days to realize. So, yeah, it's been a while. I don't do much, and I shouldn't.
Well, maybe not jumping, but
Yeah. So
treadmill-y?
I actually thought I was going to start learning how to play pickleball.
oh,
Apparently, that's the new thing.
yeah, it's almost old now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you see me playing pickleball, call the police because someone
Right.
has kidnapped me and switched me with
I don't
a
know
clone.
what to do. I'm trying to. Well, they're telling. I just saw something.
I've
that
seen.
our generation. We're Generation X, correct?
I don't know.
Something. Whatever. We are.
Whatever.
But
I
they
don't get
said
into that stuff.
That
drives me
cancer
nuts.
in our group, our age group,
Mm-hmm.
has skyrocketed.
Is
a
it
lot
from
of it
too
is-
much booze.
Right? No, processed foods.
Oh yeah.
Low
no trouble.
exercise, whatever it is. So I'm not that I'm turning vegan, like Kamala turned black. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm going in that direction, staying away from processed foods, meats, and all of that, which my daughter, she's not vegetarian. She just doesn't eat a lot of meat.
Since I got the diabetes, man,
Right.
I was really close but I replaced it with a lot more pasta and stuff. And now that I'm not
is
supposed
not
to be
good.
eating that, it's more processed stuff.
And it's not good either.
I know.
But we
Carrie, I
were
know.
raised on, but what we used to eat, the same stuff we ate 20, 30 years ago.
Spam.
But even regular milk we drank 20 years ago is not the same milk we're drinking now. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
that is true. That could be why your granddaughter's a beast.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
even my daughter, like she's got raised garden beds in her backyard. They've switched to almond milk. Like everything we're switching. Like she's not that everybody's going vegan. It's just that if you're going to buy something frozen, we go towards the vegan label because at least it's plant-based. It's got less
Trying to pay attention more to it.
Exactly.
We do that too, but
Exactly.
I still
And if I'm going to make some, I'm going to try and buy chicken breasts. I'm going to try and make it fresh and homemade. Eat cleaner. Eat more.
Okay. The sound you're about to hear is my wife getting thrown under the bus.
Oh boy.
Well, no, I know that since I've been living with other people back in the day when I was single, I just wouldn't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be in the house. And so I was much better at even when I was driving places, not eating crappy stuff as much.
Mm-hmm.
But now because there's other people in the house and they don't have relatively the same restrictions, there is stuff in the house and I do not have a lot of willpower.
Oh, I have no will.
Right. Especially if I have a little, and this is a weird thing. I don't remember if this was said on the show, but during the pandemic, we're still in a pandemic, folks. We just don't talk about it. But during the lockdown, we'll say that when the family was doing Zoom meetings every week, my father said something that I didn't. And my family is just so amazing. We don't talk about anything. I didn't know about all this history of diabetes in my family until I was 40. Until I got diagnosed, and I was like, could have told me before I had my own parking spot in Nick Tahoe's. Sorry, local reference. And my father just makes this reference like, oh yeah, that family sweet tooth, like you can't have one donut. And I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought that was just me. And my father says it, and he's in his 70s, and I'm like in my middle 50s, and I'm finding out this now.
Yeah.
I thought it was just me, and apparently it's at least one side of the family. Well, I look at the other side. It's both sides of the family. Yeah, I had no idea. And it's real. And so when there's stuff in the house,
So that's how I am. I can't have it in the house or I'll eat it all.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
totally.
Yep. Now that Dominic's not there, it's not in the house.
As opposed to my
Hence,
wife,
I've lost a little more weight.
who I love, right? This is not who I love, my wife, but she will buy, this is the one thing that is just killer for me. Oreos.
Oh my God. I'll eat the entire package.
Well, very close. So she can buy a package of Oreos and eat 2, and it will sit there for weeks.
Nope. I'll eat the entire thing.
What freak does that?
Right?
There's fucking Oreos in the house.
A jug of milk.
You're eating spinach? You're eating dinner? There's Oreos in the house.
Right? Yeah.
Holy fuck.
It's like an addiction.
Right. And so now it's like, okay, look, there's somebody in the house. I don't want her to know I'm eating all of the Oreos. So it'll just be, I walk by, I'll just have one Oreo.
Yep.
But I keep walking by
Yep.
for whatever. I got to feed the cat. Oh, I'll just have one Oreo.
Yep.
And then like in 2 days, she'll be like, where'd all the Oreos go? And I'd be like,
Oh.
well, I didn't eat them all at once.
Yep.
Which technically was true,
Yep.
but it was just only over 2 days.
Yep. Yeah, I used to be like that. Leftovers from dinner, anything. I just, it's, I had a hard time with a lot of that stuff, but it was, yep. So I'm doing a little better with it. I've noticed that, if it's not in the house, I don't eat it. It's that simple. Yep.
Well, yeah, and now because it's in the house and I eat it, and I assume there's a biological reason for this. I don't think this is a me thing. Once you get that taste of it, you want more of it.
Yep.
When I'm out by myself or whatever, I will.
And once it's out of
eat
your
it.
system, you don't have the craving for it. And I did notice that. I know when it's almost, it's like a drug. It is. And once it's out of your system, you don't crave it. It's almost like you, what do you call it? When you get something out of your system, you don't, you Jones for it.
I'm trying to think of a medical term in Jones. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But then once it's out of your system, you don't have the cravings for it as much. Like, but it's sad.
So back to the kickball thing.
Yep.
Right. So another thing and again, in feeling old. So the very last thing of this whole, I guess we could call it our field day.
Mm-hmm.
Schools have that, right? Where the kids go and they do different things, and the PE department plans various activities and shit like that. And now because my school is out in the middle of a fucking field, literally. One of the teachers and his wife, they had 4 baby goats they brought. So one of the stations we worked at was to go and pet and feed goats.
Yoda? I
Go,
was
go.
going to say yoga. I said Yoda.
No, there was no yoga.
Oh.
Although those goats were climbing all over kids. These goats loved people. So anyway, the very last thing we all did as an entire group before it was time to finish up is, I can't believe we still do this in schools. We've gotten rid of dodgeball, but there was the tug of war.
Oh my God, tug of war's fun.
No, okay. And I was like, okay.
You can pull. Oh yeah, it is kind of.
Yeah, but so.
Dodgeball's bad.
Again, how old we are, just last January, whatever it was, again, bad with times.
Mm-hmm.
I had hernia surgery.
Oh.
And I feel fine, and I'm doing things, and I'm playing kickball, and not very well, but I'm playing kickball, and, I have worked out a few times, but not a lot, because, I got meetings to go to. But I'm like, okay, tug of war is like, that's a hernia just waiting to happen, and I'm like, man, that's all I need is to fuck it up playing tug of war.
Yeah.
And so I had to just stand there holding somebody's snow cone. Boy, did I feel like I felt like the lamest.
Okay.
Oh, hold your snow cone. You can go over to tug of war.
Okay.
Okay. So I did sit out the tug of war. And my dainty little hands, I didn't want the rope to.
Yeah.
So
What I can't do yet is I'm not allowed to swim yet. I can't do free kicking. That's what I'm not allowed to do
Really?
yet. Yep.
I did not expect
With my
that.
knee. I can
But
do
it's in
I'm
the
allowed to
water.
do squats. I'm supposed to be doing squats and walking. Because free kicking is my muscles because the knee replacement, they cut into everything.
Sure.
But free kick, it throws off. I did.
I only play a doctor on the internet. I have no idea.
Well, love when I go see my Hershey bear, Herschel. When I go to see him, I got him a doctor kit for his birthday last year.
I'm sorry, can you back up? Who?
Herschel, my Hershey bear. I call him my Hershey bear.
Okay, who is that?
Herschel, my grandson.
Thank you. Listeners.
Huh?
Listeners don't know who that is.
Oh, Herschel, my grandson.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's my job here.
So Herschel, he's 4 now.
All right.
So I got him a little doctor kit.
People might think it was your actual doctor who did your
I'm
knee
so
replacement,
sorry.
and I'm
I'm
like,
so sorry.
why
I
should
am
call your
so
doctor Hershey Bear?
So it's funny. So when we go over,
doctor are a little close there, buddy.
so it'll make it even cuter when he says he's going to doctor me up.
Oh snap!
Oh snap! Yeah, yeah.
Okay, can I do this real quick? Because you,
Yeah.
Okay, so my cousin Jill. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you know her 2 sons? I don't know how much I can't remember how much okay. There's Quinn, who's the oldest, and Liam, who's the youngest. Now Quinn is graduated from college. He's an adult. He's doing kind of adult things, and Liam is, I think he's about to start his junior year in high school. But back in the day, when I first had Julie, when she was 13, when she was like 15 or something, and we were over at their house. Liam was probably 6 or something, and he just walks up to Julia, who's again 15, 16, and he's like, "Hey, want to come up to my room?" Just like that. And like in front of all of us, like one of those things where all the noise stopped, right? Like if there was a record on, it would have went right. And she was like, and she kind of looked at her. Julie looked at her. I was like, okay. And they walked up, and we're all like, snap! That kid's got game. Damn,
He's got the Riz.
Right. Well, the Riz wasn't a thing back then, but
Right?
yeah. Oh, so that's like a family joke now when I go up to my room.
Go to my room.
Right? So that's when you said that about Herschel, like doctoring you up. I was like, hey,
Grandma,
you want to go up to my room?
doctor me up.
Wow.
Because that's the joke now with us. Like,
Yeah.
Grandma, you going to doctor Herschel? Herschel going to doctor you up? I'm like, come on, it's just creepy.
Well, yeah. That's what makes it funny.
I know.
It's funny.
And it's funny because he brings out his doctor kit, and there's only one.
Oh shit! Look at the time. You're fine. Go ahead.
And there's only one blue glove, and he brings out this glove, and I'm like, oh, this is so weird.
Should we get him some new gloves? We can get him some gloves.
It's Ronan's costume glove, and the fingers like this tall, this long, and it's like, and they go on my finger this long. They only go. It's just funny.
Should we get some real gloves for him?
I've brought him.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like them. He wants this glove.
Oh, okay, well.
He's 4. Yeah. He's very set in his ways. He's quite ADHD.
Well, on that awesome
Already.
creepy note, thank you all for coming up to my room. And yeah, we'll be back next week with, actually next week I'll be in my whole 1 week summer vacation.
Oh, that's right. You get a whole week.
I get a whole week.
Oh.
Whatever will I do?
Play kickball.
I'll be working on my website and I'll be reviewing research and working on geeky stuff. So, but we will be back, and hopefully Melissa will be done with the crud and she'll tell us all about it. And I don't know. And I'll rail against mainstream politics, I guess, like we do. There's actually two new bits that have been sitting on my computer for about a month now, and I haven't finished processing them. I haven't finished editing and doing what we do to them. Maybe by next week I'll have them done. And I can even tell you they are called The Whip, which is, well, no, it's not what you think. It's my we've had frequent conversations about the dangers of Miracle Whip, and it is my commercial about Miracle Whip, and Pornhub for the environment, and with Special K, which, if you know Special K and her voice, you might want to get your beach towel out for that one. Sorry for the graphic. It's called Pornhub for the environment. What do you think? So, all right. So we'll be back, and hopefully I'll have some bits done, and maybe then I can write more, and then Carrie can do more.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You don't have to leave. I'm just saying.
I'm out of here.
No.
Herschel needs me to doctor him up.
Oh, that's fair. Well, thanks for coming up. Thanks for coming up to my room. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me up to your room, Dave.
Yeah, no problem. All right. We'll be back next week. Ciao.
See ya. Bye.
How should you choose a lawyer to represent you in your ass hernia lawsuit? That's simple. Go to the other firm's websites, then go to ours. What do you see? Ass. Nothing but ass. Why? Because that's all we do is ass. Some firms dabble in oral injuries. Others file a lot of vanilla straight lawsuits. Call the lawyers at Billy Magoo at 222-2222 and we'll analyze your situation. Remember, Billy Magoo, 222-2222, because Billy Magoo is all about the ass.